You can just blow the, and most people, as I said at the beginning of this interview, don't know what the deuce is going on. They don't know. And you can promise them anything. Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, your rights, my rights, everybody's rights. They don't know.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry. Video's coming up shortly. Just 1 second, if I can find the button. Yeah. Um, yeah. Sorry about that, but here I am. Yeah. Man, this is this got pushed really far back because I learned a bunch of valuable lessons in between yesterday and today, which um, I'm not going to go into all the detail, but I will just kind of state that basically yesterday I sort of went into as much detail as I cared to about everything that's been kind of coming at me all at once with regards to why the show has been completely just missing every day I'm supposed to be live, essentially, for better part of a month now, and I was just kind of lamenting on the idea that I don't really understand. Well, I do kind of now, I think, but it's been hard to understand, at least, why the first month or more of the show with first 45 episodes went out, and essentially there were a couple days where I missed. I think there was like 2 or 3 days I missed total in that first month and a half or so, and that was about it. Didn't miss anything else really. And for some reason, ever since then, it's just been well, not at all the same. And it it's hard to exactly explain why, except that well, there were definitely some major hardware issues that need to be fixed, and I fixed those. But then there was also the issue of, when you change, especially something you've been using for a long time, you have to get used to new hardware, and you don't always get used to it. But even with that being the case, then there was other stuff, and you have to also keep in mind when I'm kind of saying this, I have a bad habit of getting into too many projects. You probably can tell this already, but I have a bad habit of getting into way too many projects all at once, and then going kind of like, well, where do I even start? And then in some cases where that happens, I'm lucky if I even get one of those things done. But in cases like this, where it's like, okay, you have to get back to doing the show. But one thing I will say, and I'm really, I haven't spoken about this at all on the show yet, but I'm just going to come out and say it. I am getting really freaking tired of OBS. I hate that stupid damn program. It's really pissing me off, because it's always something different that's going wrong. It's never stable from day to day. I don't know why. I've looked this up, but I can't find an answer why I will be able to do a show, close the program, and then I'll start it the next time, and it'll say did not shut down properly. When I shut down each stream, I shut down connection to each stream, and then I basically then I close the program. It's the way I used OBS before. It's the way I use Streamlabs OBS when I use that. And mind you, the only reason I don't use Streamlabs OBS anymore is, well, there's two reasons actually now. The first was because I couldn't do simultaneous live streams on two different platforms unless you pay a monthly fee for their service, which, first of all, no, I'm not paying a goddamn monthly fee. And secondly, it kind of sucks using the service when it's doing that anyway, because it will, I don't actually know, nobody, and this is the funny thing, I'm going to have to rant about this soon. I don't have time today. There's too much important stuff. But this is part of one of the issues I've been having a lot of trouble trying to figure out a way around, which is that when looking up advice or tips or information about streaming and streaming platforms and how to do something and do it more efficiently or do it correctly on Rumble, nobody really uses Rumble or does tutorials on anything related to Rumble for the most part. When you're looking up general streaming advice, it's always really annoying people on mostly Twitch and sometimes Twitch and YouTube, but because I had it with Twitch a long time ago, but besides which, even though it's still kind of applicable, Rumble is very different, which it was one of the reasons why I've had problems lately. I have not been able to, up until yesterday, literally yesterday, been able to get live chat from Rumble on my actual OBS dock screen, and I was driving me crazy because I could not get the URL to. I couldn't get even the stream to pop or the chat to pop up. And mind you, I know when you're live, it kind of has the chat like Rumble isn't like YouTube or a lot of other streaming platforms that kind of save the live chat on the video on demand afterwards. It's at least from what I can tell, I haven't seen one stream yet that I pulled up that was a stream that happened, and watching it after it's over, it still had the live chat going on. Although I've watched a lot of live streams and they all have the live chat going. And I tried that at first on mine, and I couldn't ever get it to come up. And I don't know if there was something wrong with my browser or something, and that was why. But I finally figured that out, fixed it, and now I have both chats up on screen, so I can keep track of that. Which, if you have ever commented on Rumble and I haven't responded, that's why I haven't actually seen your chat. Probably I do try to monitor the actual web page as much as possible, but I have to bounce back and forth, so I don't usually keep up with everything that's going on either page. It's just to make sure everything's steady. But and then finally, the fact that excuse me, that OBS seems to just be I don't know what happened, but like I can't ever get it to run the same way twice. Like it always has something new that happens the next time I launch it, and it's driving me up the wall. So I really need to find an alternative. I know that, and I know this because I have a really high-end NVIDIA graphics card. I know NVIDIA just started their own streaming platform, so or streaming. What's it called? I think I have it right here, actually. Yeah. Oh, wait. Not right there. Right here. Yeah. NVIDIA Canvas. Yeah. So I know that one. I haven't even tried it yet, but it would be something to check out. I'm not going back to Streamlabs. The main reason for Streamlabs for me in the first place was that actually, well, hold on. Yeah, honestly, with Streamlabs, the main reason was because of the ease of having a payment processor that was integrated with the streaming service. But ever since I got my sort of PayPal Direct payment system for anyone that wants to tip up and running, and considering it's early on and I'm not really expecting to have a bunch of people tip right away anyway. That isn't the biggest problem, but if anyone is so inclined, anything's appreciated, and the method to do it is available, and it's no easier on Streamlabs, from what I can tell, to because you're using PayPal for the most part to send any kind of contribution in anyway, unless you're talking about sort of monthly subscriptions. But I'm nowhere near getting the point of being able to offer that sort of thing as a service. I need to actually have some kind of significant period of time where I'm consistent before I'm going to offer that. So regardless, though, I'm seriously sorry for all of the delays that have been going on. This has been huge burden on me. It's been a major source of like I it's also partly been due to just the sheer amount of uh, anxiety and frustration and panic and just the avalanche of uh, pressure that's been like all over me lately every time something goes wrong. And I really I'm really tired of having it be this strenuous because, to be honest, um, I've got the sound to a point, and I mean a lot of people have told me lately the sound is sounding very good. There's nothing wrong technically with anything. It's just the fact that you can't make the shows or you're not on the shows or whatever. It's like, yeah, I know it sucks. So it's not about technical difficulties on the hardware end or on the quality of the stream or the sound end. It's just a matter of a set of software that seems like it's reliable enough to actually do the show and do it correctly, which I don't know how this happened to OBS. It's been the pretty much the go-to platform to do live streaming since I even heard about live streaming. But yeah, all of a sudden now it seems I don't know. If there's a new version out that I don't have? It seems like I have automatic updates on, so it seems like I should have heard about it. But nevertheless, those are just some of the unfortunate reasons that have been going on. Now, I did say this yesterday, and I'll say this again today because I want this to be crystal clear, and I want to make sure everyone knows this so that there's no confusion around this. Until I am until I post on X or make a video or a stream or whatever and officially let you guys know that the channel is ending, I'm not ending the show. That's first and foremost. If I'm ending the show, you guys will know about it. Believe me. So don't think that because I'm gone for even a significant amount of time that I'm actually, throwing in the towel. I'm not doing that. And if I was, I will be sure to let you guys know that I am and exactly why or, whatever else is going along with it. But the main point is just that I know that there's been significant periods of time already where I haven't been able to do a show consistently, and there's probably been some concern about is the show still going? What's going on? Yes, it is. And it really pisses me off how many things I've missed. I haven't been able to do streams on days where there is so much critical stuff that I wanted to cover really bad. I just haven't been able to make it. So, so it really sucks. But to be fair, I missed it. Oh well, it's time. I'll move on and go to the next thing because there's always new events. But especially because I know people would be inclined to kind of be too unsure about whether or not it would actually be something to continue to invest time in watching if you didn't know that there was going to be another episode. So I just want to make sure I tell everybody right now, don't think that I'm giving up on doing streams at all. That's not in the cards whatsoever. I'm having a continual hard time with making sure everything works, but as far as actually reaching the breaking point, no, I might go a little nuts, but no, I'm not anywhere near the point of ready to give up. So, so thank you guys especially to those of you who have been watching. It's been staggering to see the numbers, especially on Rumble. It's been a really, really big surprise. So thank you guys all of you guys who have been tuning in and watching, everybody that's checked out the show, and even if it wasn't for you and you moved on, thank you at least for giving it a shot. I appreciate it. So, anyway, so that's enough rambling for me. Well, let's get on to the events for the last couple days because I actually, unfortunately, don't have a ton of time today because I started late and I have some things that I've got to do this afternoon. But I'm gonna try and cram in as much as I can. So, anyway, let's start with Let's start a little further back than yesterday because we start with yesterday and then try to go backwards. It's going to be confusing because there's also, I mean, CPAC's going on right now. There was the that other conference that happened for I think it was well, I know Jordan Peterson was involved and might have even been his conference that he said. I can't remember exactly, but um, anyway, there was that conference. Plus, then there was the events with JD Vance in Europe. There was some. There's been some. There's been some major developments here. I don't know if I know I reported. I reported on the day when RFK Jr. Or no, it was Tulsi. Yeah, it was Tulsi that got. Or was it no? Who was second? I can't remember who was first and who was second. I think now that I think about it, I think it was RFK that was second. So, and then the only one remaining was Kash Patel. Yesterday, it was made official. Kash Patel is the new FBI director. And oh boy, is there a major freakout going on among leftists on Senate and House because that this was one that they really didn't want. And this was also one that a handful of Republicans didn't want either. But luckily enough, there was definitely enough. Like, I heard this mentioned, and wouldn't surprise me because this guy's he's earned his stripes. Chuck Grassley really has a lot of respect for Kash Patel, as do a lot of the more MAGA-focused senators, and so people like Tom Cotton, people like obviously Ted Cruz, and people like surprisingly Mike Lee and Rand Paul. All the real constitutionalists, they all really like Kash Patel. They find him to be a really honest guy, and they are really hoping that the agency, because under every FBI director that I've seen testify in front of Congress since I've started watching any kind of interaction with the FBI and our elected officials, there's very little concern over whether or not they are conveying anything significant to our elected representatives. So that's part one. Democrats obviously don't care. They don't really want to know any of the information. They just want to. They want to know more about domestic violent extremism by white people and white nationalism. But the actual people in the field that are dealing with the real threats are far more concerned, especially with the illegal immigration. And that was another big subject over the weekend because people were really talking a lot about the correlation between the United States and our ridiculous border policy under Joe Biden, and how out of control Europe has gotten as far as letting in all these refugees or asylum seekers or whatever you want to call them, because a lot of them are basically, following the same script that the drug cartels are. It's just terrorist organizations instead of drug cartels, which now that President Trump labeled the drug cartels a terrorist organization, there really is very little difference between them, other than one's ideologically driven and one's financially driven. But it's just unbelievable, the parallels there, because you have all these people who are trying to draw attention to how difficult the journey is that these people are making from their home countries. Like, yeah, and that's why they shouldn't be coming. And it's the same thing I remember seeing here, where people are like these migrants risk their lives to come to the United States. Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that, because they shouldn't be, just allowed in. And risking your life to get here isn't a term by which we, look at the application of a person looking to migrate to the United States, and we take into consideration in that process. I'm sorry the journey was difficult, but that doesn't really mean much of anything in terms of the grand scheme of things, because, like, I hate to break it to you, but the terrorists and the drug cartels are also people who make that dangerous journey quite often. So that doesn't automatically mean we're going to give them an open invitation. Although it seemed like the last administration was kind of intent on doing that as well, but who knows? And that's another sentiment that's been around lately, is people are starting to really wonder, because as this is definitely something I'm going to touch on. In fact, I'll kind of start with this. So Doge and Elon Musk have been on a roll lately as far as the kinds of things they've found that have been just. I mean, when you hear the list of things they've found so far, it's just staggering, and the argument gets made that well, this isn't enough money to really make a significance in our debt. It's like, yeah, maybe you're right about that, but I hate to break it to you, but here's the thing. People who pay you their money in tax to go to government to, provide services for the American people, they expect that to be for making things better for the American people, not for facilitating the influx of millions of illegal immigrants and paying for accommodations for them that are better than you give to our veterans. So maybe, just maybe, think about the morality of how the money is spent, rather than just the fact that it's money spent and who cares how it's spent, because it's so small. And another reason is because, okay, so it is small, but I mean, this is the first agency that, one of the first few agencies that that Elon Musk has been going through their spending for, and I've heard this mentioned time and time again, and I believe it 100%. Like, wait until he gets to the Pentagon. Wait till he gets to the military waste and the absolute hive of fraud that is going to be discovered there, because, geez Louise, is that ever going to be a rabbit hole I don't think anybody's going to be able to get out of, as well as probably when it comes to things like, what's that called? Well, I'll just put it this way: whoever and however groups were organized to suppress information that they did not want because it was damaging to the Democrat Party. Like, it's hard to even try to be persuasive if you're someone on the right wing side of politics. It's going to be hard to justify any of this stuff as being warranted of citizenship. It's just going to be it's just going to be like another slap to the face, because that's what a lot of the American people are getting. And quite frankly, I agree, because it's not that much. Even if we stopped right now, I'm glad that we found out about all this stuff. I think it's weird hearing when people describe tens of billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars in one area as that's not significant to make a real dent in our actual deficit and the amount of the amount of money we'll be paying on the debt when it comes to this year, or whenever it comes up. But anyway, so I couldn't care less, if it's going to make a difference or not. But it is something that it's the same reason why, and the Democrats know this. That's why they secretly put their money into things like Green New Deal spending and eliminating as much oil drilling and fracking and transportation of oils and um, it's so impossible to overstate how absolutely batshit crazy all of this thing has been. But um, this is just the right kind of. I mean, this administration is turning out to be amazing. I remember um, several people early on saying that it'll be a miracle if you can get all these nominees through. There's no way he's going to be able to get all these nominees through. And lo and behold, here we are. And the only one that technically didn't get through, I guess you could argue, is Matt Gaetz, but he didn't even get to the confirmation process because he was reading the fact that when you look at the Democrat Party, they just have this look of absolute disdain on his face, and it's really not what's the word? Well, it's really not. I'll just put it this way: it's really not the best of looks to be claiming that you're looking out for the taxpayer. Because here's the other. Well, here let's go ahead and jump into some of this stuff because what really bugs me, and this is what I'm noticing more and more because I just heard this morning, and this is something relevant, and it got under my skin so bad I had to make sure I made mention of it because this is exactly what the media and the Democrats are hoping for when they do shit like this, and I for one do not want to let it stand. But so I have family who is kind of aligned on both sides and have historically been part of either party. And when there was the real cultural switch that was flipped, and if you like Donald Trump, then you didn't care about women or I don't know who this is. Never mind. I don't know who that is. But and you don't care about the people who are living in poverty. You don't care about this and that, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, the real ones who don't care are you and your activist class amongst the Democrat Party that just can't shut up about these things. And on top of that, like, when was it the responsibility of America to essentially say, yeah, everyone out there who is suffering, we'll make sure that we help you, when all that's going to do is basically destroy our whole system of government, our whole financial sector, our whole job market, anything that we have that would be a great success a couple decades ago is now just treated as what's it called? Basically treated like they weren't citizens, and the people that aren't citizens are treated like the best citizens that they put. So it's just pathetic. But here's the thing, though, is that there are so many things. Like, I think I talked about this at least. I don't know if I played the clip. I think I at least showed part of the scene that was going on there. In fact, I'm almost positive I did. But these freaking members of Congress that go up and try to use the tired old excuse of we're doing this to save democracy, we're doing this to save Western civilization, we're doing this to end the war in Ukraine. All right, well, how about showing us you actually want to end it, because it doesn't seem like that's actually the case. But so there's been a bunch of clips coming out that I wanted to highlight, but let's start with one that's pretty direct and straightforward at exactly what the position is on all this stuff. So, but anyway, let's see. I think that was in. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, whoops. Well, okay. Let's see. We'll start with. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, and by the way, I finally seem to have gotten my soundboard. I think working pretty well. And as I said the other day, to those of you who weren't here though, there's all kinds of new goodies on here that I think will be fun. But until then, we have to make sure that we only use what is appropriate and when it is appropriate.
It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're thinking. So anyway, this is what I mean. I've got some pretty amazing things on here, and they may not be appropriate, but
we already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
Oh, Joe Biden, how dare you? Anyway, that one's gonna get me in trouble. But I don't care. Anyway, let's go to which, by the way, another thing that's really starting to become apparent is why the people that Joe Biden pardoned preemptively on his way out, why they were selected. And it seems like, obviously this is the reason, but the depths of the reason why is kind of incredible because Dr. Fauci, that's one thing we all know kind of to some degree, but it turns out that this has been going on since the Obama administration. And what really sickened me was how the reports had come out, and a lot of people in Congress were really disgusted by this as well, how hands-on he was with extreme animal cruelty in so many of his experiments and his trials and his ridiculous nonsense that was going to save us all from his own man-made virus that he helped cook up. Like, who knows what the hell he was trying to study, but then you get before Congress, and then no, we weren't doing gain-of-function research. Well, this is gain-of-function research. It says, right? No, that's not gain-of-function research. You're just not versed in the scientific field. Fuck off. Fuck off. You absolute freaking liar. I do think one of the funniest memes, though, for a long time was the what's it called? Yeah, the Dr. Fauci candles and the worship of Saint Fauci on his. It's just everybody treated the guy like he was going to be saving the world from the most deadly and terrible sorts of fates and diseases. And it's like, really not so much, I don't think, because the guy can't really cure much of anything. He seems to be the cause of more things than he is the cure of most things. But then we move into the things like the Senate and the House, and what's wild to me is for how much it's really not surprising, but it is still to some degree pretty incredible to see, because for people that touted over and over again how no one's above the law and justice will be done and judges make the right decisions and you don't question the judge's motive. Well, actually, you can do all of those things, but we know you don't like it, so we know you're just going to scamper away. So if you feel free to do that, but that just lets the people who are looking into this stuff say that he's this is just out of control, and there's nothing that we were able to do about it. But and by he, I mean Joe Biden or his administration or whoever was running the place. Everything that's going on there is just completely indefinable. The Supreme Court says, no, you can't forgive student loan debt. We're going to do it anyway. The Supreme Court says, oh, you can't just open the border and let everybody in. You have to close it. We're going to leave it open anyway. So what about that rule of law bullshit that you guys are so obsessed with all the time, and how the evil Donald Trump is always, trying to act like he's above the law? What a bunch of bullshit. Come on. This is ridiculous. So, and then, of course, there was what we've discussed before with the January 6th investigations, and Liz Cheney in particular having such a direct influence over what's her name? Cassidy Hutchinson? Yeah, Cassidy Hutchinson, who just was some buffoon who freaking showed up as an intern at the White House. So anyway, it's just it's incredible to see the everybody on kind of like I won't say the brink, but like everybody is on a sort of ride right now, looking at everything that has sort of been recorded to have taken place. But well, anyway, let me get to these clips so I can get, because I'm going to end up running out of time. And I at least want to get to these two things that were really important. And I think you can get my point about Joe Biden and his ridiculous pardons, because witness tampering, fraud from receiving payments from foreign hostile nations, and which it's interesting. I will say one thing: the left isn't still crying about Russia at the moment. At least that's kind of good. It's just it's incredible how hypocritical a group of people can be, who just seem to have no ambition except for, okay, we want to stay in power. Okay, we got power. Okay, what do we do? I don't know. It's really, really disappointing. But anyway, finally, let me get to these freaking clips. So, why can't I see? Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Man. Why can't I find it? Oh, that's right. Wrong folder. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, let's start with, one of these is going to be the best one. Okay. How long is that? Because these are short enough. We can do them back to back, and that would really help out here. Okay, I think we start here or start. Nah, it doesn't matter, because you know what? Either way, we'll get back to these after this show today at some point anyway. But let's go ahead and start right here. I think this is a good one to start with. There's been several hearings in the House over, in particular, USAID and the Doge investigation into what they found in terms of all the spending going on there, and it sure wasn't pretty. But yeah, that's my phone. Okay. Anyway, let's see. We'll do this one first, I think. So, this is a member of Congress that doesn't really get. She's newer, so she hasn't. Wait, she didn't get elected this term, did she? Maybe she did. There are so many new conservatives that are newly kind of reestablishment conservatives that. So yeah, it's rad rapists. Okay, let's see. Or I could do. Now I'll do this one first. So let me go ahead and pull this up, and we'll. Okay. So like I said, this lady's name is Maria Salazar, and she hasn't been on a number of committees. I think she's been in. I don't think she got elected this Congress. I might be wrong, but I swear I've seen her before on certain other committees. But she's not a permanent. She hasn't been a permanent fixture in a long time. So. But anyway, and Brian Mast, the chairman for this committee, has been. I mean, he's a real no nonsense kind of guy, like former military guy, and he's like all business when he gets into the hearing. So, so he doesn't usually put up with a lot of crap, although he's very, very professional about the way he doesn't put up with crap. So, so this is some of the reactions of Congress to the USAID spending that has been going on, the amounts of money that's been spending. And just when you're listening to this, just try to keep in the back of your head, like, the amount when she's reading these things off, how much we're talking about in terms of like, how much are we talking about in terms of the suffering of the Gazan child that which, you know, I'm sure Iran and the Taliban, not the Taliban, although close enough, Al Qaeda, not Al Qaeda either, although once again also close enough. I'm trying to remember. Why can't I think of Hamas, Hezbollah, the two most significant individuals that ever really attempted to go after these people when there's like a way to mark every single one of them. So anyway, so let's get back to this. Well, let's get into this clip, and we'll after this one, there's one other one with another congressman, and this guy is I think it's Mark Green, which he was chairman of the he's missed the floor though. Anyway, okay, all right. So let's get into this. I'm sorry. Is there volume? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Oh, and I gotta switch cameras. So there we go.
votes, and so we're going to recognize Representative Salazar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to the witnesses. My name is Maria Salazar. I'm the chairman of the Western Hemisphere Committee, subcommittee here in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and I am very distraught because some of the programs that we have been talking about come from the region that I represent. Many people in South Florida that come from those countries of origin: Guatemala, Venezuela, and Peru. So I understand, Mr. Ignatios, that you do not agree with the way that Elon Musk has conducted his investigation into USAID. But I do believe, coming from the world of television, that you are judged by the results, not by the process. And Musk has discovered things that are completely and absolutely embarrassing.
That's actually
and in my specifically in the region that I.
That's actually an important fact. Is that one thing you'll never hear? You'll never hear the Democrats ever complain about is the things that were found at USAID. You'll never hear them one time ever go into how, it was this was terribly reckless spending. We should not have been funding these things that we were funding. They're beyond reproach, and there's no way in hell we'll ever knowingly allow that to happen ever again. And then the correct response would be, if they keep coming, then you punish them in some way and then send them back again. Because if you're trying to stop other nations from getting, all the things that Al-Fi got, and it's incredible because they can complain all day about how Elon Musk. Well, there's a great interview. We'll get back to it after this, but there's a great interview because their biggest tactic that was so apparent right off the bat is for them to try and play to this ego that they. Because their picture of Donald Trump and even Elon is like this caricature, and it's not really a real image. So, yeah, I just can't. I just can't believe that not more people call them out about it, especially if you're a voter and you live in cities where these people represent and are just trying to make excuses for it. And they always go to jobs. They always go to hardworking people. They always go to the best Americans and blah, blah, blah. But first of all, there's no real appropriate clothing for that. But it's just... It just hurts my head. Anyway, let's continue with this. I'm sorry.
That I'm saying that I'm representing a lot of constituents. So I want to salute you because you said that you did the job, you were the administrator, that you went line by line, that you were cleaning up the different programs, that you took your job very seriously. But apparently, we are in different times. And I'm just going to share with you within the time that I have 3 programs coming from Latin America, which I think that are highly embarrassing. Let's start with Venezuela. And here's the video that Chairman played before. Venezuelans, they're fleeing Marxism. They're hungry. The average Venezuelan weighs 15 pounds less because of lack of food. We know that Chavez has destroyed the country. They make it to Ecuador. They're tired. And then they encounter that the United States, which is the beacon of hope, is offering this program to become a drag queen. So I think there's something wrong with that picture. And I think I'm not sure if we can play it again, but I just wanted your opinion.
Well, that particular program was a State Department program. And I have great respect for the State Department, but I think it's appalling they did it, to be very frank with you.
So you do not agree with those $35,000
No,
invested?
I don't. I think we should stick with our basic mission.
Okay, well, but you agree that they have not. Not under you.
Oh,
but
no, they have not.
They have not.
And
okay,
I think
so
that
let's
needs
go
to be
I just want to
changed.
hear your thoughts because, unfortunately, time
Just one
is of
comment,
the essence. $2 million for Native Indians in Guatemala.
I love that too. Just
President
shut up.
Giammattei called me I mean, I've never had a president from a country saying, I don't want the United States money. I mean, highly conservative. These are the native Indians in Guatemala, people who are just, flipping the tortillas, and they just want to learn how to do a job, not sex change surgeries. What do you think about that?
That's beyond what this AID mission is. I don't think we
Good.
should be.
That's all we need to know. Peru, in the Amazon. This is the jungle. This is not Jeff Bezos' Amazon. This is like where people have harsh conditions. They need mosquito nets to fight malaria. So $25,000 for diversity recruitment events. What is a diversity recruitment event in the middle of the jungle?
I have no idea. Congressman, just one comment. You can move aid to do what you want by hiring a development professional, a conservative, who knows how to manage a large, complex operation. Mark Green was such a person, under Trump.
But then what happened between your time and this time?
And this is the point right here. They hate Elon Musk. They hate Donald Trump. They hate what they're doing. So anyone but them, anyone but Trump, anyone but Elon, anything like that. If there was somebody else that was nominated and at least was they're at least going to be facing they're at least going to be facing some kind of serious kind of governmental blows to the business, because this is not exactly like the yeah, go ahead. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's get back to this. It's funny as hell when they agree with the proposition. They agree that what they're listing off as waste, and they agree that there should be people that are accounted for. But once again, when we get back here, it's like, okay, so you support all that, but you don't want to take out enemy heroes. Like, why is this so hard to figure out? Oh, I should have turned that. But unfortunately, it's not that it's too hard to figure out. It's just that their absolute hysteria is completely blocking any kind of sense of actual responsibility they need to have to the people that actually voted them into office. So anyway, let's finish this one up. This one's not much longer.
Tell me, what happened?
Well, politics gets involved.
Oh, politics. But then Elon Musk comes and tries to clean politics and go back to the original mission of the program. Is that correct?
I think it would be useful if Musk and some of his staff would go to the field and see the projects.
Well, I think
they would take a different view.
I'm sure they don't have time, sir, to do that. But what I'm saying is that he did something that, according to what you just explained, it brings benefit to the USAID programs.
The USAID staff do what the political appointees tell them to do.
Well, okay.
They don't initiate these things.
They don't.
Oh.
So that means that all these directives came from the White House.
The White House, yes, and the State Department.
So that, okay, but then the White House, the State Department responds to the White House. So you are telling me that under the Biden administration, the USAID lost its course, yes or no?
I think AID needs to be more independent of the political wars in Washington.
You just told me that the State Department is the one that directs.
Yes.
That, okay, and the State Department responds to the White House.
That's correct.
All right, so that means then that the White House gave the wrong directives to USAID.
In my view.
In your view. Good.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, that's all we needed to know. So now we have a new sheriff in town called Donald Trump, and then that guy brought another guy called Elon Musk to do the job, something that no one else has done before. So why do we need to criticize him?
Because he doesn't know anything about development. He may be a genius at technology. He does not know anything about development.
But
The
it
stuff
has,
they've
but
been-
The way that they are so egotistical to believe that they know better than Elon Musk about how to manage businesses and manage finances? Are you fucking kidding me? It's so amazingly pompous that they think that they're the only ones in the world that know how to be these great leaders because they were elected to office, and then this guy wasn't. He's just some bureaucrat. He wasn't elected to shit. But especially the Democrats who have not, they probably haven't even, most of them haven't even owned a business. So the idea that they are going to be able to teach Elon Musk anything about the way that things are supposed to work in D.C. and this is the way things need to go. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic because it's just, we get it. We get you don't like Elon. We get you don't like Trump. We get it. But this idea that they're somehow unqualified, why? Why are they not qualified to do it? Because apparently it was fine to give 4 years to the people who were fucking it up in the Biden administration because nobody really cared to look and see what they were doing. But give it to a guy who is giving total transparency over the situation, telling you exactly what he's doing, which, by the way, if you're so offended by the idea that he's laying off all these people, once again, one of the biggest reasons that so many people are getting laid off is because they aren't actually coming into work. They've been staying away since fucking COVID. And that's the whole point. They got used to this remote work bullshit for governmental jobs where they're getting paid decent salaries and they never ever have to retire unless they really want to, because government jobs are basically like almost lifetime appointments in some places, including the U.S., because it's just you can't I'm sorry. I'm losing my train. Let's just get back to this.
No, wait. Development has nothing to do with what is the mission statement for USAID? Secure, prosper, and value American values.
Running
The $2 million for the native Indians in Guatemala to change their sex surgeries has nothing to do with that.
$15 billion was spent on humanitarian assistance in emergencies and refugee camps. There's particular skills you learn in doing that. I did that.
I understand,
I know
but
what that
you're
is.
talking about what works. I'm talking about what does not work.
Okay.
Gentlelady's time
Thank
has
you.
expired.
I appreciate, Chairman. Thank you, sir, for your time.
I would also let you know, Ms. Salazar, that I've had numerous calls from ambassadors during the Biden administration who intend to provide us with the reprimands that they wrote against career employees who were undermining their work, doing these programs that they didn't want, but did them anyways, and the administration didn't care.
That's another thing. See, and this is something that really sucks because it's hard. It's going to be hard to know until we hear from some of the people that have been held down, because this is what was propagated under all the government agencies under the last administration. You had these people who were beholden to no one except themselves. They were looking out for no one except themselves. They didn't care about the mission statement of the agency or of their responsibilities to the United States citizens or anything like that. They cared about how much money they were making, and they cared about their status in the bureaucracy. You see this running rampant, especially in the FBI, where it wasn't about catching criminals anymore. It wasn't about doing your job efficiently anymore. It was about how good you looked in the eyes of Washington, D.C., how many parties you got invited to, and how high your status was. That was why when Josh Hawley was grilling Christopher Wray about, using the FBI private jet to go on vacation and skipping out on a congressional hearing where he was supposed to testify. And he did, except he took off like after 2/3 of the way through the meeting because he quoted that he had a plane to catch, quote unquote. It's like, well, okay, the plane is the FBI plane, and you could take it whenever you want because you're going on vacation. And there's some questions that really senators that are trying to answer questions for their constituents would really like to have answered. And even, even Chuck Grassley came out and said, like, there's no way you can, shorten the amount of time in between matches that we were having. It's just like, wow, okay. No, they just didn't give a shit. And then the ones that did were silenced. They were shut down. They were told to be quiet. There's, I can't remember who it was that was talking about this, but I think it was Garrett O'Boyle. But, he was the guy that was the first on the table at the weaponization of government subcommittee, because this is a specific issue about the FBI whistleblowers and FBI former employees, and how they were treated with a complete and utter so anyway, so there's one more of these I kind of want to put on, and then I think I'm gonna have to. This sucks because maybe I'll do a second. Maybe do a second episode later on tonight. But hey, what's up, Eddie Madison? I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna be on much longer, but I'm feeling much better today. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I got a. In fact, I have time for one more clip, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Anyway, I was gonna say I got a early, late lunch, early dinner to have with some fam in just a minute. But since this is the first episode fully back and everything's working today, everything's working well, and I'm very stoked about that part. And I think it's safe to say that as long as I can kind of keep myself well rested finally and not be too stressed out, which that part has been tough, but as long as I can keep at least most of that under control, show should be back full time starting today, but really by next week, hopefully we can kind of hit the ground running. I've got so much stuff I need to get finished, but anyway, before time runs out, there's let's see. This one's a good one. So, I haven't played too much Victor Davis Hanson on the channel, although he's one of the more very intellectually sound and extremely articulate speakers for people that aren't necessarily even on the right or left, but just people examining situations and trying to figure out why people are deciding to do what they're doing. And one thing you can't really understand very well is how and why the left is so determined to shoot themselves in the foot over and over again. But this is because, there's been all this talk about how Doge is unconstitutional and Doge is the president doesn't have the authority to do this, and They're all full of shit. They're all wrong. And on top of that, even supposing there was some ambiguity here, let's not forget the fact that these plans were discussed prior to the election. This was all discussed about, like, it was something that he was definitely going to want to do, was was stopped by House of the White House, that was the White House, and sort of just remind people that that this was totally above water, and go over the reasons why there's going to be no shady backroom deals that are being cut, because by its very nature, Doge is I guess anti-Semitic Semite, and well, maybe not even a Semite. Anyway, the point is that there's all these accusations thrown out, and they even have tried bringing it to courts to say that this is unconstitutional. No, the executive appoints who he wants to appoint, and the executive branch mostly lies, or virtually all of it lies within the decisions of the anyway, so here I'll play this one from Victor Davis Hanson, and then we'll kind of wrap up for this one. But because this one, like I said, this one's really good, and it's a good one to end this section on, because if people on the left actually listen to some of this stuff and maybe pick their battles a little bit better, they wouldn't sound so stupid. Now, they're still going to be protesting just about everything that Trump's doing, but the problem is that he's moving so fast, they seem to really not be able to catch up, and by the time they're talking about something that's already happened, he's already working on the next project that's going to piss him off. So this is the basic idea, it seems like, between the real chamber and the jeez. Are you anyway? So let me get to. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's get to this Victor Davis Hanson clip, and then I'll call it a good one. But okay, all right. There we go. Man, I'm glad I put these controls in. So, all right. So here's Victor Davis Hanson on Doge and why it actually is completely all legit and above ground and not illegal in any way, and is totally within the rights of the President of the United States to assign these responsibilities to someone he sees fit to do so, and clean up all the garbage that has been spent, that our tax dollars have been spent on. So anyway, let's go to this clip here with Victor Davis Hanson and hear what he has to say about it. Oh, whoops.
Some of it. He is not a freelancer. He was appointed a government official.
Yeah,
Donald
right.
Trump, by an executive order, created the Department of Government Efficiency, and it only is going to last till July 4th, 2026. It's not a permanent agency. AID was created by John F. Kennedy in 1961 by an executive order. Let's get straight what Elon Musk is trying to do. He's going through all of these agencies and finding waste and fraud, and he has executive authority to do so. Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. I want to revisit the hysteria, controversy, whatever term we use, about Elon Musk and his role in the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, using that term for the executive officer of Renaissance Florence. The Italian word Doge is a meme, so to speak. There's a lot of controversy about Elon Musk, and let's just dispel some of it right at the start. He is not a freelancer. He was appointed a government official. Donald Trump, by an executive order, created the Department of Government Efficiency, and he made Elon Musk the head of it, along with Ramaswamy, who now has resigned. Elon Musk has statutory authority. This Department of Government Efficiency is not a cabinet agency. He does not have to be approved by Congress. And it only is going to last till July 4th, 2026. It's not a permanent agency. But he has the same power or lack of such as the National Security Advisor, who does not have to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. He's more legitimate, or he has more statutory legitimacy than earlier presidential advisors like Harry Hopkins, who moved into the White House under the FDR administration, or Bernard Baruch, who basically ran 2 world wars in terms of domestic production under Woodrow Wilson and FDR. So let's just dispel the idea that he's doing anything unusual. As far as the executive orders that created the Doge program and eliminated USAID, that was perfectly legal in itself. AID was created by John F. Kennedy in 1961 by an executive order. There was a statutory direction for the president to disperse foreign aids into a comprehensive body, but it didn't say USAID. He could do whatever he wanted. And so Donald Trump has decided to end autonomous USAID and fold it into the State Department for disaster relief or poverty relief or famine relief.
This is something really important. I'll just interject really quick because this is something that a lot of people don't understand. The executive branch has their own constitutional authority to do certain things involving the things that seem that they deem necessary for the protection of the United States and their people and their property and their livelihoods and their essentially like they don't have complete authority over they don't have. According to the Constitution, George Bush kind of screwed the pooch on this one and decided, tell with Congress, I'm declaring war. It used to be the Congress had to be the body to declare war, but like I said, that's kind of been thrown into the question mark bin as of late. But what is being discussed here is that this isn't a body that has any kind of real power over anything themselves. They advise the president on matters that he has assigned them to advise him on, because the president has a ton of things he has to do, so he can't take care of every task that he needs to take care of in every situation. So he authorizes other hand-picked individuals to head agencies or head groups or different newly formed groups of employees that work for work directly for the executive. Which, by the way, in this case, Elon's not making any money off of this. He's doing this because he's passionate about it. But the point is that the president can defer those actions to an individual, and then that doesn't require the approval of the Senate. If Elon was appointed to that task and was doing everything on his own, he was the one making the decisions at the end of the day, then there'd be constitutional issues there, because he'd be the sole arbiter on who is fired and who's not, what programs stay and which ones go and everything else. But that's not what's happening. It's a position where you report to the president your findings and give him your recommendation, and it's up to the president whether or not he wants to follow those findings or not. Now, obviously, in this situation, he's probably going to agree, because number one, not only is it a case right now that we are in extremely high debt, and the the levels of spending need to come down, particularly on pointless and ridiculous pet projects that have been going on in Washington for way too long. But the other thing is that if you're trying to do this, who better than like a man who really knows how to manage his finances, obviously, is an incredibly successful entrepreneur and someone who knows also by way of the kinds of projects that they're involved in, the way that government regulations and policies affect everyone, and in this case, especially business owners and their staff. So anyway, the idea that this is all like something he can't do is ridiculous. It's just, once again, they're just grasping at something that would be a point that they could cling on to, that would be like, no, he can't do that. No, he can. He can do this. Just like Joe Biden, I mean, blatantly overstepped his. I mean, anyway, there's the hypocrisy coming out again. But let's go ahead, keep going.
But let's get straight what Elon Musk is trying to do. He's going through all of these agencies and finding waste and fraud, and he has executive authority to do so. The Democrats are suing on the principle that they have approved funds for some of these agencies, and Donald Trump is not spending them. And they are also arguing that Elon Musk exists by an executive order and not a congressional statute. And this is very ironic, to tell you the truth. If you look back at executive orders, the number of which have been issued by Democratic and Republican presidencies, you see two general terms. The two Bushes and Donald Trump are not that much different than the 16 years of Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Where you see the big divide in the number of executive orders is a break between FDR and Harry Truman, and to a lesser extent, Herbert Hoover and Coolidge, and the present. And believe me, during the Roosevelt years and Truman years, that was an all-time record of executive orders. And that got Roosevelt in trouble, of course, with the Supreme Court. As far as impounding funds, Joe Biden set the precedent. You all saw him on tape when he said, SOB, the son of I went in over there to Ukraine, and I said, you're not getting this $1 billion until you do this. Well, that money had been approved by Congress. And when he became president, there was a statute that said, here's the money to build the wall. And Joe Biden canceled the wall. That was illegal. But he came up with all these, we have to do environmental studies or endangered species, but he didn't spend the money. All Donald Trump is doing is saying, well, I don't believe the Impoundment Act is legal. We'll see if what the Supreme Court, but I'm just following the precedent that Joe Biden did. But now the shoe's on the other foot. And so, again, there is a statutory authority for Elon Musk to do what he does. He has the executive order justifying his agency, his 20-some employees. And more importantly, there's another thing no one talks about. Elon Musk is a controversial figure, and everybody is attacking him. And whom are they not attacking? Donald Trump. So while the media is trying to make a split, Time magazine had a cover of Elon Musk behind the desk in the presidential desk in the Oval Office. Donald Trump didn't get angry about that. He said, I didn't even know Time magazine was still in existence. Why? Because Elon Musk, in addition to all of these executive duties he's doing to cut back wasteful spending, he is redirecting animus away from the president to him. And I don't think the left understands that. This is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal.
Anyway, just to wrap up, because I got to hurry because now it's getting late. But and I'm sorry, I wanted to start sooner, but technical difficulties again. But anyway, I'll just close with this. Isn't this the most ironic part, though, that you can hear stuff like that, and you're reminded of the Democrats going crazy now, and yet when Biden similar things, only tried to hide them and tried to pretend like, oh, this is for a good cause. This is for a cause for this, a cause for that. This is to help people and this kind of. It's like, okay, yeah, but what about the American people who you're actually supposed to be worrying about, and not the Ukrainian people, and not the people of Central America? And it's like, well, there's not a peep from the Democrats about that. But as soon as you start looking after the American people and their finances and the tax money that they're spending going to ridiculous nonsense projects that have just been approved by some stooge in a bureaucratic part of D.C. that is way overfunded, like, oh no, this is not going to stand. And then the idea of this, I'll have to talk about this more later, because this is what really got under my skin. The idea that you have Chuck Schumer and all these ridiculous freaking congressional Democrats coming out and starting all these demonstrations in the streets, shouting at the top of their lungs, trying to frame it as Donald Trump is undermining our own ability to look after our own finances, our own money. Yeah, there's a call, but it's like, no, it has nothing to do. You're not worried about the American people's finances. You're worried about your agenda you are trying to pass. It has nothing to do with our freaking money. You're more than willing to spend our money as long as it's on some stupid Democrat project that is so important, like spending billions and billions of dollars on green agenda initiatives that are going to save the world from the carbon emissions. But and it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. They have no problem spending billions and trillions of dollars on projects that people have warned and warned again over and over and over that this isn't going to help. This is going to destroy the American economy. It's going to drag the entire U.S. economy under, and it's going to lead to the destruction of the dollar and an inability for us to pay off our debts entirely. And it's just like, no, we'll just keep spending. They either want to destroy the country or they're just completely stupid, but I don't think that's it. I think there's a more sinister agenda there. But ultimately, the point is that beyond any shadow of a doubt, the hypocrisy is off the charts, because once again, you can't complain about someone who is supposedly looking into all this personal information, and that's what you're concerned about. You weren't concerned when the FBI was doing it by looking into everybody that happened to be in Washington, D.C. on January 4th, 5th, and 6th of 2021, because, everybody that was there at the Capitol needs to be investigated by the FBI. You didn't mind when the FBI was spying on parents at school board meetings. You didn't mind when the FBI was spying on Catholics at Latin Mass. You didn't. It's like all of these attempts to undermine personal autonomy and the religious and speech freedoms of the United States citizens. Didn't have a word to say about it. In fact, denied over and over and over again that it was happening until everybody acknowledged, yeah, it's happening. And then you just stop talking about it. But now when it's to remove the money that taxpayers have spent on improving their country and their government, going to a Sesame Street episode that aired in Afghanistan, that's totally fine. That's totally that's worth the money. It's kind of funny, but it's also so disgusting at the same time that it's hard to know whether to laugh or to scream or to smash your TV. And it's really it's infuriating, but it's just so absurd at the same time. It kind of just leaves you with your jaw dropped open, like, what is up with these people? And we'll delve into that a little bit more next time. I'm sorry I have to go. This was a unfortunate set of circumstances, but I'll say this: it's good to be back. So this time, this episode's staying up. We're going to be moving on finally, and like I said, I'm seriously looking forward to it. I hope nothing else goes wrong again this time. I really hope so. But I'm feeling optimistic about it. So thank you guys again for being here. I really, really do appreciate you guys sticking with me through thick and thin on this one, because, man, it's been rough. But I will catch you guys tomorrow. And unless something comes up tonight, if something big comes up tonight because of the short episode, maybe I'll do something. I don't want to make any promises on that, though, so just expect probably tomorrow. So anyway, in any case, I'll talk to you guys then. Until then, take care of yourselves. Have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you next time. My name's Corey Dean. Peace.
Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out. What is?
For credits.
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah.